how's it going? It's Al. Week 2 on DraftKings is live in the lobby, and I'm going to go through a first look lineup trying to build a correlated tournament type lineup for you early in the week. This is an absolutely no research, off the cuff kind of look, because I don't care who you build with, I care how you build your lineups to give you the best chance at taking down tournaments week in and week out on DraftKings. As news changes throughout the week, as values change throughout the week, as you start to coalesce and gravitate around the right plays and find the contrarian plays, you're going to plug them into this lineup style to give you the best chance of climbing the sheet to win the most money up top. Week 1 is over, and my recap video is live over on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. Go to smizzle.tv/FF. That will get you subbed over there every Monday morning. I go over a recap of how we did on the cheat sheet that is live on Discord for channel members here on YouTube and subscribers on Twitch. That's $5 a month. Whole lot of links. They're all in the link tree. Smizzle.tv/links will get you there. Smizzle.tv/Discord. The Listener League link's in there. The HQ key is in there. Everything you need is in the link tree. The Fantasy Football channel's in there. Everything you need is in the link tree. Make sure you join the Discord, because that's how you keep in touch with everything that we do week in, week out. And if you wanted to sub, real quick, if you can't find the join button, it's really right down there. But if you can't find it, smizzle.tv/join will take you right to the sub so you can get the cheat sheet that I put out to help you build lineups every single Friday. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League is posted for week 2. It just went up. As you can see, there are 0 entries of 5,000. It's a $10 league, 3 max, $50,000 in the prize pool. Absolutely no rake. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings. The link is in the link tree. Go to smizzle.tv/links, and that will give you the link to the link. Also, follow me on Instagram. Join the Discord. Smizzle.tv/join. Become a channel member so that you get access to the cheat sheet in the Discord for the VIP section. For those people who subscribe on Twitch and are channel members here on YouTube, all of it. Click all the things. They're right there in the link tree. Best of luck to you in week 2. Let's take a look at what the lines look like. As you can tell, I'm recording this before Monday Night Football goes off tonight. The Vikings and the Eagles are on Thursday night. We are not paying attention to that one. The Chiefs and the Jaguars, though. 51 over under. Chiefs by 2.5. Kelsey back, Kelsey not back. We're going to wait and see. They have fantastic drugs at the NFL level if there's nothing structurally wrong with his knee to allow him to go this week. Seahawks and Lions. 5.5. Lions at home favored. This game won Hoop the Millionaire Maker last year because the Lions at home were an absolute carnival. I'm not sure that the Lions are a carnival anymore. Their defense looks a lot more toothy this year than it has looked the last 2 years. We'll have to see. The over-under here, though, 49. Good game to target. And the options are cheaper than the Chiefs and Jaguars, but you guys know that I'm building through the through the Jaguars because it's on the cover of the video. Chargers against the Titans, 45.5. Chargers favored by 3.5. Bengals favored by 3.5 over the Ravens. Good bounce back spot for the Bengals, and a good time for me to talk about something called anchor bias. Things that happen in week 1 does not mean they're going to happen the rest of the season. Things like, I don't know, Christian Kirk not getting a whole lot of run, and people saying, well, I guess he's a dead duck at this point. T. Higgins scored 0 fantasy points in week 1. He had 8 targets. Everybody relax. Week 2 is like always consistently one of the craziest weeks because we latch on to everything that happened in week 1, and some of it is going to be sticky, but a lot of it is not. So don't completely panic on things that happen in week 1, like in the Bears game where they threw the ball a ton to running backs because they were getting throttled in the second half. Tampa Bay by 3 over the Bears, 42 total in this one. Green Bay by 1 over the Falcons, who are going to run the ball 70,000 times a game. The Raiders, 9.5 point dogs to the Buffalo Bills. 48 is the over-under there. Little quick math there. That equals half of this is 24. Half of this is about 5. They have a team total of 28.5 or 29 do the Buffalo Bills. That's a lot of points. Colts against the Texans. The Texans are favored in a National Football League game in 2023. The total is 40. We're going to have to see what happens there. 49ers go to Los Angeles to visit the Rams at SoFi. Favored by 8 points, total of 44 there. Giants and Cardinals. Giants by 4.5, 38.5 is the total there. Ew. Jets and Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 3 at home. This is basically an even matchup. interesting one that we're going to have to break down as the week goes along. 45.5 there. Commanders and Broncos by 3.5, 39 total. And then we have all the primetime games. And I'm just going to say right now, I hate that there's 2 games on Monday night. I hate it. It's the worst. For me as a content creator, it's terrible. I'm sure fans like, oh, more football. Yeah, give me one island game, please, is really all I need. So let's take a look at the quarterbacks really, really, really fast. Patrick Mahomes, he's still quite good. They don't have the game log up yet, but they have like the blurbs, the news blurbs. 21 of 39 for 226 with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. That interception was on a drop pass. Somebody in chat made the reference that Kadarius Toney is the Ben Simmons of the NFL, which really threw me for a loop because that's just fantastic. Josh Allen, just make 150 Josh Allen stats every week whenever he's on the main slate. Let's take a look at what he did last year since they left these up here. I've joked about doing this in the past because I've never really done it, but I always talk myself out of it. But there's like 5-6 weeks a year every year where Josh Allen puts up 30 plus DraftKings points. 33 here, 32 here, 39 here, 30 here. He doesn't run as much as he used to. So those big weeks usually come along with 2 wide receivers that go nuts, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns this week, 30 points here, 400 yards receiving, 42 completions against Miami, 4 touchdowns against Pittsburgh for 424, 39 points. Just make 150 Josh Allen stacks every week. You're going to lose like 10, 11 weeks of the year, but 6 weeks, you're going to have a good shot at winning the Millionaire Maker. So like, I say that somewhat tongue in cheek, but also like, it might be kind of true. Lamar Jackson looks like he's going to have a bounce back week as long as the quad muscle for Mark Andrews is fine. I do like the fact that Zay Flowers, who saw his price go up 25% this week from 4,000 to 5,000, looks like a fantastic possession receiver, which means Bateman and Odell Beckham Jr. can work on the outside and be fine, but they need that other glue guy. They need Mark Andrews to do things that they have to do. I do not think it's horrible about what happened to J.K. Dobbins. Tears his Achilles after a year and a half after tearing his ACL. He can't catch a break. That sucks. However, it's not going to affect the way that the Ravens run offense. They're going to be fine with Gus Bus and Justice Hill. They'll be just fine at running back. And if they have to, there's plenty of other professional running backs that they can sign off the street right now with Kareem Hunt or Lenny or anybody else that can just kind of play and fill a role should they need it. So Lamar Jackson, his passing group is going to be just fine, especially once that quad injury heals for Mark Andrews. Justin Fields, 37 passes. I do need to emphasize this. There was a member of our community, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. I'm sure they're in chat and they're going to let me know. It was me. I don't remember last year, in fact, wanting to double stack Justin, but it's only because of how low volume his passing was. There were weeks that he threw for 3 touchdowns and 2 touchdowns, but the stacks were completely dependent on him throwing touchdowns to specific guys. And it's not because of how much he runs the football. It's more because they just didn't throw it enough. And in DraftKings scoring with full PPR, on top of DraftKings being a situation where 100-yard bonuses are a thing, receiving can pay off without touchdowns. Touchdowns are just the nice added bonus on top that puts you over the edge for a tournament win. But there were a couple of weeks last year where Jalen Hurts threw for, I think Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown both had 20 to 30 fantasy points to go along with, his rushing stats. Fields completed 24 of 37 passes. A lot of those went to checkdowns to running backs. Yes, they were in garbage time mode for the majority of the second half, as Aaron Jones pre-hammy injury did really well. He also ran it 9 times again, so fantastic floor for Justin Fields. But his tournament upside, if they throw it 30 to 40 times a game, is certainly different from where it was last year. And I may stop isolating him as a 1 wide receiver stack and go to more double stacks if this 30 to 40 pass attempts stays sticky. However, we don't know if it will. Like I said, don't let anchor bias be a real thing for you because they were getting throttled. But the best time of the year to be contrarian and to trust your own conviction against what everybody else out there is telling you are the first 4 weeks of the NFL season. So if you think that the Bears are going to throw it more and open up more this year, because of the way that they're going to run offense and the changes that they made in the offseason, bolstering that wide receiver room, then go ahead and double stack Justin Fields. And if you're right in the first 4 weeks, you're going to be all alone on that and take down something big. That's just the way that daily fantasy goes, and it's gone that way for all 12, 13 years that I've been playing it. Justin Herbert, 7K this week on the road at Tennessee. Tennessee did not look that terrible this week, but they didn't get challenged by an offense as good as the Los Angeles Chargers. Kind of expensive. Joe Burrow signed a big contract, looked really amazing walking into the stadium, and then laid an egg on the field, 14 of 31 for 82 yards, and nobody got off. At some point, they're going to get loose. Don't know when it is. This game, divisional games are always tough. Cincinnati's going to be fine. I'm waiting to see what the percentages are later in the week. Dak Prescott, looking down at the cheaper option, 6,300 for Anthony Richardson. He looked fantastic, at least from a fantasy perspective in that game. Around 21 fantasy points on DraftKings for him. He ran the ball 10 times for only 40 yards. Typically, quarterbacks average about 6.5 yards per rush when they run it 5+ times per game. So there's even more meat on the bone for him for the floor. 10 rushes. Had one of them be a rushing touchdown, that's 10 rushing points. Anything he does with his arm is a bonus after that. And he did not go for one of those days where he completed like 45-50% of his passes. He was somewhat efficient through the air. He's going to have hiccups. He's going to have bad weeks. We know this. But the rushing ability will buoy that floor. This should be a 7K player. I think he's still in the mix for cash. Brock Purdy at 5,700, I definitely like as a value play this week because of the matchup and the team total that they have. I know that people like Howell, but against Denver, I'm probably going to steer clear. That is a tougher defense, especially on the outside, than people are willing to admit. Other than that, not really much down here that I want to look at. So, as I said before, Trevor Lawrence looked the part of what everybody thought that he was. The Jaguars are the darlings coming into this season. They are everybody's favorite ascension team, the team that's going to take off as Trevor Lawrence enters the next year of his career, his third season in the NFL, where he is going to really take a leap, as we saw him do really well at the end of last season. People are extending that to this year. With the addition of Calvin Ridley to that team, Ridley looked the part as well. Completed 24 of 32 last week for 241 and 2 touchdowns. Also, thankfully, Travis Etienne was way more included in the passing game this week. So many weapons for him to choose from. And isolating to this game as the highest totaled game on the slate, Etienne with like 5 targets. Pacheco got 4 targets. Bigsby took a touchdown away late. Calvin Ridley had a fantastic day yesterday. Caught 8 of his 11 targets, but I think he caught 6 or 7 of those in the first half before the Colts made some defensive adjustments and moved him out in the second half. Zay Jones came down with a touchdown. We're going to stack him with him. He moved up from 6,500 to 7,200. And just because everybody's going to hate it because he only got 1 of 3 targets yesterday, and Zay Jones caught a touchdown and made a great catch, and he is one of the favored end zone targets or red zone targets for Trevor Lawrence, I think there might be a bounce back game here for Christian Kirk. There's a lot of mouths to feed on this offense between Travis Etienne, Ridley. They paid a lot of money to Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. That's 5 dudes that have to eat. And we haven't even gotten to Bigsby or any of the other wide receivers that are beneath them on the depth chart. So there's just such a cornucopia of weapons for them to go attack. And the Chiefs are not top notch right now on defense. They have their best defensive player holding out at this point. And Christian Kirk is going to be somebody people don't want to click because of how Calvin Ridley looked last week. I think that this offense is going to eat. I think that this is going to be a great show on Sunday. And I'm going to assume, for the sake of this lineup, just to see if we can build one, to pay up at tight end and go get Travis Kelce. The Chiefs could have won that game last week without Travis Kelce because they dropped 4 very, very important from Patrick Mahomes. One of them turned into a touchdown the other way. Another one would have extended a drive late in the game in the last 2 minutes. So if they catch either one of those 2 passes, instead of one turning into a touchdown and one turning into a turnover on downs, they probably win that football game. Let's assume that Travis Kelce is back. Right now it says that he has already began the rehab process with his knee, could be ready to play in the Chiefs Week 2 matchup. If he's not ready to play, come here, don't play him. If Travis Kelce doesn't play in Week 2, don't roster him on DraftKings. Go a different route. But for right now, I'm going to assume he plays. And if he plays, I want to have him in my lineup. So here we go. We're paying up. 6,700 at quarterback, double stacking with 2 wide receivers, bringing it back with the best tight end that does it right now, assuming health there. So we're going to have to find some value. Let's start on defense. We're just going to plug in the Raiders because they're cheap against Buffalo. I know, 150 Josh Allen stacks, no matter what. We're just going to plug in a cheap defense. We'll figure it out. At running back, there's a lot of guys up top. Christian McCaffrey is not going to see the volume that he saw previously on a week in, week out basis. This week, though, in week 1, he had a fantastic amount of volume with 27 opportunities, 22 rushes for 152 and 5 targets. If he gets 20 and 5 every week, 20 rushes, 5 attempts, I'd be on board with that. He should be a 10K player if that's the case, because Christian McCaffrey is just too good. Had a 65-yard house call as well. So the volume gives him this ridiculous floor. The offense gives him massive touchdown equity, and he is a big play waiting to happen anytime he touches the ball on a very, very talented offense being run by the pizza delivery man himself. Go to smizzle.tv/store if you want your Purdy pizza delivery shirt. Rock Purdy. So Austin Eckler, I guess he's just going to keep scoring touchdowns. Even with less usage, 16 carries, 5 targets. That's the perfect use. 13 to 17 carries, 4 to 6 targets. On DraftKings, if you can get that usage or project that usage from a running back, that is exactly what you want to see. $8,700 for Eckler. Saquon Barkley, bounce back opportunity against the Arizona Cardinals. They did not look great, even though their defense scored a lot of points because, the Commanders aren't really a great offense. Not that the Giants look like a great offense, but the Arizona defense is not the same as the Dallas Cowboys defense. Great bounce back spot for everybody on the Giants, as many people in daily fantasy are going to run away. Bijan Robinson, the number 2 running back on the Falcons, is 7,900, 6 catches on 6 targets with 10 rushes for 56 yards. Amazing efficiency. The juke that he laid after that screen pass was sick. Big time talent. We'll see if his volume increases as the weeks go on. Lots of options here at the high end, including Tony Pollard. Finally, 14 rushes, 2 receptions on 3 targets because they didn't have to throw the ball because they were, they put a 40 burger up on Sunday Night Football in the rain. Jacobs against Buffalo on the road. ETN, if you wanted to shy away from the passing game here and go with the secondary stack, ETN more than enough volume. Again, 18 carries, 5 targets. The perfect amount of volume on DraftKings. I'm going to drive that nail into the coffin constantly. I'm going to keep hammering that for you guys. 13 to 17 carries, 4 to 6 targets is what we're looking for every single week. Monitor the Jones injury. Jahmyr Gibbs was the guy that everybody thought was going to give them that sort of usage. He is shockingly more expensive than David Montgomery after a 7 rush, 2 target game on 25% of the usage that was given to David Montgomery. He's 500 more. Now, granted, he looked better. Jahmyr Gibbs definitely looks more explosive. David Montgomery rushed 21 times for 74 yards on the road with a touchdown, got the inside the 5 snaps and carry, but no carries, no targets. So he does look like somebody that we can utilize until it changes, right? Until things change. If you want to bet on when that change is going to come, and you think this is going to be the week that Jahmyr Gibbs takes over the 70% of the market share, because right now David Montgomery is the 2023 version of 2022's Jamal Williams, and DeAndre Swift's usage went directly to Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not saying it's going to stay that way, but that's where we're at right now. So for the sake of this lineup, and until something changes, I'm going to go with David Montgomery. I still need to find another value play. Gus Edwards, 53. Brian Robinson Jr., 19 carries, 2 targets, 1 of them for a touchdown. Was not efficient against the Cardinals' rush defense. Denver also might present a problem. Also, they are underdogs on the road. Not where I want to target my running back usage. Kyron Williams is 5K, but they play against San Francisco. I don't like playing running backs against San Francisco. Maybe the best 20th round draft pick so far this year, For those 1 week best ball connoisseurs, we were advocating taking him as your RB5 or RB6 in a lot of best ball drafts in the 18th round on Underdog or the 20th round on DraftKings. But there's a cheaper option. A lot of guys in play this week. Kind of feel like Zach Moss when he comes back from injury based on the missteps. He was ahead of Deion Jackson coming into the year, but he was hurt. It's a forearm. It's not even a leg. If he's active this weekend against Houston, who's a dumpster fire on defense, we might see a really big game at 4,700. Right now, it's Monday. If you don't buy this on Monday, that's fine. At least be open to the fact that this provides us with an ultra value, which now leaves us 5,300 left to spend while looking for a secondary stack. And where can we find it? What's another high totaled team that we can look at? Well, the San Francisco 49ers traveled to Los Angeles, and Brandon Ayuk had himself a monster game in week 1 against a team that played primarily man-to-man coverage in the Steelers. 8 targets, 8 catches, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns, an absolute smash in week 1. Ayuk is a monster. I also know that he's done very well since Brock Purdy took over the starting job late last season. However, the Rams play mostly zone, and the week 1 anchor bias is going to push a lot of people onto Brandon Ayuk. But Deebo Samuel versus zone tends to be where the 49ers like to run their offense through because they have an offensive coordinator head coach who likes to do things game by game for specific opponents, and he has so many weapons at his disposal that he can utilize, and Deebo is a zone beater. He had 5 catches on 7 targets for 55 yards against the Steelers. It's not like he was a forgotten piece in that offense, but the big shiny weapons last week were Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk. Now I'm going with Deebo Samuel at 5,600, leaving me with 5,100 for a flex. Gonna go Puka Nacua. Apparently Puka Nacua is just Cooper Kupp. We've learned anything, it's that McVay and the Rams offense is very much a next man up situation. At running back, at wide receiver, you play a role and it is what it is. As long as Cooper Kupp is out, Puka Nacua is going to play the slot. And as long as Puka Nacua plays the slot, he's going to have opportunities. I don't think that he's going to get 15 targets every week. Let's just get that out of the way right quick. But a solid 6 to 8 targets every week for sub 5K on DraftKings is a fine value release valve. There might be better values that open up later in the week that allow us to get even better at running back, because guys that are 4,500 and down due to injury and what else is out there gives us that opportunity. Hell, if you were to pay down at tight end with everybody else on the list, guys like Dalton Schultz, Everett is 4,100. Pitts had a couple of catches, but I'm not buying the passing game there. Who else down here? We'll see how Dalton Kincaid does on Monday Night Football. I expect him to be the H-back. They're going to run a lot of 2 tight end with Knox playing inline and Dalton Kincaid playing more of an H-back position, kind of like Sharp used to for Denver, or when they had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, the murderer, how they were doing things in New England. I'm not saying that Dalton Kincaid's going to end up becoming a murderer because he's playing the H-back role. I'm saying on the field stuff, this could be a very tasty spot at 3,300, but we're building through an expensive build with our double stack. We have correlation with Samuel to Puka, and you can get things done as you wish. So I wish you the best of luck. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.